Augusta's Classic Rock, Eagle 102.3. Thursday morning, Cliff Bennett checked in. Man, I have been looking forward to this. Great show coming our way on Sunday, April 30th at the Bell Auditorium with Alice Cooper. And lo and behold, who do I have on the phone with me but Alice?
Hey, Cliff.
Sir, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
I'm doing great. Can't wait to see you down here. I almost wish you were coming next week since we had this little golf thing called the Masters.
Yeah, you have a little tournament there, don't you? A little charity tournament?
You know, it's not exactly putt-putt. It does its thing.
I play 6 days a week, and most people, that's the holiest of holy ground, I think.
How many people did you actually floor when they, I guess it kind of became generally known in the last number of years that you're a pretty good golfer.
Well, I quit drinking 35 years ago, right. And when I quit drinking, I wanted to find something that was going to take its place. And having an addictive personality, that was sort of like something that, I could get involved in, because I was a good baseball player, so golf became addictive to me. And I live between Arizona and Maui, so we play a lot of golf.
We are on the phone with Alice Cooper, the big show coming to the Bell on April 30th. Alice, first of all, so many people thrilled that you're finally coming to Augusta to do a show. Let's take a step back. How did you actually get started in rock and roll and entertainment?
I was just like any other kid when the Beatles came out. I was 15 years old, and it was just one of those things where looking for something to do, and I had a lot of friends that were art majors, like myself, and we just decided that we would put a little band together just to play at parties and stuff like that. And then it just so happened that the band got really good. And we had the idea that why shouldn't theater be involved in rock and roll? I mean, it was sort of one-dimensional to me. Why not take those lyrics and bring them to life?
Right.
If you're going to say, welcome to my nightmare, give the audience the nightmare. But make it to the music. Make it like a Broadway show or a vaudeville kind of show. So that's really what it was. And then to make it even go further, I looked around and said, well, rock and roll is full of rock and roll heroes, but there's no villains.
Ah.
I said, why? Well, I don't want to be Peter Pan. I want to be Captain Hook.
Time to fill a niche.
And so Alice Cooper became this sort of national villain to the parents, to the kids. Of course, they understood that Alice was a rocker and fairly harmless when it came to what, but the look and the attitude, I think, of what Alice was in the early 70s scared a lot of people.
And it makes it so clear now. Again, on the phone with Alice Cooper, his show April 30th at the Bell. Details at eagle102.com. Alice, hang on to the phone, man. I want to talk to you a bit more. We got to do a break. Back with more of Augusta's Classic Rock and a conversation with Alice Cooper. Hang on. Eagle 102.3, Augusta's Classic Rock. It's Cliff Bennett. We are talking with Alice Cooper, who's going to be coming to Augusta April 30th at the Bell. Show info, again, you can find that at eagle102.com. Alice, you brought up the performance aspect just a few minutes ago. I caught you when you were opening up for Crew on their final tour. It was amazing. You tour so much. How do you keep things fresh for you?
Tell you what it really is. I realized this a long time ago. I don't care if you're Paul McCartney or if you're Mick Jagger or whoever you are. If you think that you have written your best album or your best songs, then you really shouldn't write another album.
Go ahead and call it done.
If you think you've done your best show, you really shouldn't go out on tour. I look at the next album as this is going to be a better album than School's Out or $1 Billion Babies or any of the other number one albums that happen. Because if I don't think like that, then I'm not going to write a very good album. And same thing with a show. If I don't think that I'm going to bring a better show into Augusta than I did in 1975 or 76, then really I shouldn't be out there on tour.
Chatting on the phone now with Alice Cooper. Speaking of your shows, I just got to say, how many times has that head of yours been taken off on stage?
The guillotine, the thing about the guillotine is when you're doing the guillotine on stage, it's a 40-pound blade, and it literally misses me by 6 inches.
Dude, are you serious?
If you had it missed by a foot or 2 feet, it would be safer, but at the same time, it wouldn't look as good.
Okay, well, that brings up the question. Have you ever had any close calls?
We had a close call, not on the guillotine, but on the gallows, when we used to do the gallows, because the gallows is another trick. But if a certain wire breaks, then you are pretty much on a real gallows.
Jeez.
And that wire broke one time, and I was in London, but my body responded in a way of surviving it, by just flipping my head back so that the noose went over my chin rather than around my neck. And I'm still here.
We're on the phone with Alice Cooper. Alice, you were jokingly, or half-jokingly, saying you were going to run for president last year. A lot of people took notice, saying they would actually vote for you. What kind of takeaway?
I was probably the more logical, safer choice than Hillary or Trump, The funny thing was, when I came out with the song Elected, that song was a satire on election, but I wanted to make it more of a tribute to Pete Townsend and The Who. We tried to make it a big kind of Who type of record. And it ended up being like John Lennon's favorite song.
Wow.
That was his favorite song. And when you do it on stage, it almost begs to be produced as a satire. And, of course, we had, Trump and Hillary on stage at the end, and they shake hands, and then he pinches her on the back end, and then she turns around and slaps him. And pretty soon they're in a gigantic romantic kiss, and the audience just goes, what? And that was at a time when nobody actually knew who was going to win the election. It's a great satire, that song is.
Once again, Alice Cooper on the phone with us as we get ready for his big show April 30th at the Bell. Eagle102.com for all your show info. We're in luck, too, because Alice is going to hang out with us a little bit longer. So some more conversations coming up here on Augusta's Classic Rock, Eagle 102.3. Eagle 102.3, Augusta's Classic Rock Thursday with Cliff Bennett. Fortunate to have not just one now, but 2 hours with Alice Cooper. He's coming to the Bell Auditorium on Sunday, April 30th. Again, show info for that you can find at eagle102.com. Alice, I don't know how you do it, man. You're always on the go. You're constantly touring. You've got your own syndicated radio show. You've also got the side band now with Johnny Depp and Joe Perry, the Hollywood Vampires. How did that come about?
Well, I was working on a movie, Dark Shadows, with Johnny. Hadn't really met him yet. This was like the first time that we had really met. Right. And I had mentioned to him in the sort of the good old days in L.A. where the Hollywood Vampires was a drinking club, and it was John Lennon and Harry Nilsson and Keith Moon and Mickey Dolenz and all these guys, all these rockers met every single night at the Rainbow, and we would just sit and drink. And I said, all of those guys except for Mickey and myself are gone. And I said it would be a great idea to do a band to tribute all of our dead drunk friends.
That's a sobering thought.
And when you thought of it, it was all the guys that we used to drink with. And as soon as I mentioned that, Joe Perry walked in and goes, I'm in, And then Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses says, I'm in. And we had a band right there.
You see, that's just an amazing story to have that caliber of talent literally just come together that fast, that easily.
Joe Perry from Aerosmith, one of the premier guitar players in rock and roll, takes guitar lessons from Johnny Depp.
Are you serious?
That's how good Johnny is, yeah.
So this is kind of a labor of love for you. This will continue on.
It will, yeah. 2018, we're planning on a major tour for the Vampires, a new album and major tour. So Johnny's doing like 5 movies this year, and Joe is finishing up the Aerosmith final tour, from what I understand. Right. And I'm out till December 6th. So this year is pretty much taken care of. Next year, though, we've all planned to take time off and make it sure it's a Hollywood Vampire year.
It's Cliff Bennett, and we are on the phone with Alice Cooper, the big show coming April 30th at the Bell. Alice, I really appreciate this extra time that you're getting to talk to us. We knew we were going to be able to chat with you, so I asked some of our listeners what question they would want to ask you. This question just really stands out, and I wasn't even aware of it. This comes from Jay, who's listening on iHeartRadio. The question is, you apparently did a theme song for James Bond, The Man with a Golden Gun. Why was that song passed over? Because I listened to
you know who our biggest champion on that was? If you remember, the Man with a Golden Gun was Roger Moore, was James Bond. Yeah. And Christopher Lee was Salamanca. Yes. He was the arch villain.
I knew you were going to say Christopher Lee.
And Christopher Lee heard our version and went to Cubby Bercali and those guys and said, hey, this is the version you got to use. and Cubby Bercali said, we only have girls singing James Bond themes. And so, he got Lulu.
Wow, what a waste.
Where Christopher Lee says, but it's not even close to being as good as this song. it was just very funny how they thought about that. But yeah, you're right. Man with the Golden Gun would have been a really perfect song for that.
I love that, and especially for that version of that movie, too. That was perfect. Well, again, Alice is going to be coming and joining us here at the Bell in Augusta on Sunday, April 30th. And you can get all the ticket info online at AugustaEntertainmentComplex.com and Eagle102.com. Again, on the phone with us, what a pleasure and an honor to spend some time and chat with you today. Alice Cooper, thank you so much, buddy.
It's going to be a great show, and I'll see you backstage. Come on backstage and say hi.
You had me at hello. I'll see you then.
Okay, man. Bye-bye.